Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, how are you? I hope you're all in a good health. We are from a group of five, consist of me, Santi Rosalia, and my friends, Irena Aminina and Fitria Mafaizatul Imama. Today, we will learn about problem behavior and solve the problem. And the material consists of why problem occur, and then creating successful classroom, and then modifying problem behavior. Okay, to the point, I will tell you some materials. Listen well, okay? In learning, the conditions that the teacher wants must be orderly and smooth, but that seems like an impossible. In the classroom, there will definitely be problems. For example, student noise, student delays, cheating, not wanting to learn, etc. But whatever the problem, if we want success in learning, then we must know what caused the problem and then how to solve it. Well, in this presentation will be discussed. Why problem occur? There are two factors, internal factors and external factors. The first is internal factors. Number one is the family factors. Students' experience in their family greatly affect their attitudes to learning. For example, if at home students are taught how to be good at school, respect teachers and friends, of course, students will be better at controlling themselves, and no problems will occur. And then, number two is learning expectation. Students' learning experience in private schools can also affect students. Sometimes they have bad memories, which will trigger the students to cause problems in a class. Number three is approval. Approval from teachers and friends can affect students' self-esteem. For example, if students get approval from the teacher, they will be happy and tend to obey the rules. But if they don't get approval from the teachers, the students will not be happy and will cause the problems. And then the next is what the teacher does. The attitude of a teacher also affects the thought and assumption of students, because the assumption of students will also affect the students after them. For example, if the teacher is firm and disciplined, the students will be more disciplined about learning in a class, so that problems will be reduced. And then the next is success and failure factors. Success is something that can affect motivation in students, while failure is something that makes students insecure. So that is will be a problem. The teacher's job here is to make students aware of their achievement even if they are very small. Jadi dari semua faktor ini itu sangat mempengaruhi kondisi siswa, misal attitude atau motivasi siswa untuk mereka ini disiplin atau tidak dalam pembelajaran seperti itu. And then the next is external factors. Some external factors can also influence students' behavior. For example, if they are tired, students will find it difficult to concentrate in learning. And then the next is classroom conditions. And then noise. Noise outside the classroom can also cause students not to concentrate on learning. Therefore, teachers must always be sensitive to the problems that are present in their class. Okay, the first material is finished, and then the next material will be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Creating successful classroom. Behavior norms. Norms need to be explicitly discussed. We need to discuss the rules with the group, explaining what they mean and why they are there. We might give students a handout explaining the type of behavior we expect of them, and if students understand what is expected of them and why it is expected of them, they are much more likely to conform to behavioral norms. Second, norms can be jointly negotiated. Students and teachers can negotiate by making a code of ethics that can be mutually agreed upon. A kind of contract between teachers and students. For example, when someone is talking, they will be allowed to finish first. In this case, both teachers and students must comply with these rules because they have been agreed upon by both. Next, norms need to be reviewed and revisited. Norms need to be reviewed and rediscussed so that the previously agreed norms are not forgotten and continue to run as they should. Next, how teachers can ensure successful behavior. First, start as we intended. Students will find it very difficult if teachers only start explaining certain behavior when something goes wrong. For example, we want to start our lesson in a quiet atmosphere. Then we need to do that from the first lesson by waiting for silence before we start the activity we have planned. Next, preparing for what we are going to do. Well-organized planning of study periods and activities that go before a far greater effect than the chance of success than the usual. Next, engagement plan. When we plan our class, we need to think about how to involve students in following the learning procedures properly and correctly. Next, prioritize success. One of the most important tasks of teachers or educators is to try to make students successful. The rule of equality. In any dealings with group members, the group must see that the teacher treats everyone in exactly the same way. Praise is better than blame. A study shows that when students are alerted to inappropriate behavior, it has a little impact. However, even if difficult students responded very positively when they were praised for work-worthy behavior, students were much more likely to avoid inappropriate behavior.
And the last material is modifying problem behavior. When students behave disruptively or uncooperatively, our first task is to find out what the problem is. We can see if we can agree a solution with the student who exhibiting the offending behavior so that we can set the target for them to aim at one which will ensure the success we are striving for. There are many things to bear in mind if you wish to achieve the goals. The first is act immediately. It is vital to act immediately when there is a problem, since the longer a type of behavior is left unchecked, the more difficult it is to deal with. Pada poin pertama ini, dijelaskan sangat penting untuk segera bertindak ketika terjadi masalah. Karena semakin lama sesuatu itu dibiarkan, maka akan semakin sulit juga untuk ditangani. Contoh dari tindakan segera di sini yaitu seperti berhenti berbicara, berhenti sejenak, dan menatap siswa yang bersangkutan. Next is keep calm. The first thing to remember is that whatever we feel like, we should never appear to be flustered. Apapun yang kita rasakan, kita tidak boleh terlihat bingung di depan siswa. Kita perlu bertindak dengan tenang dan hati-hati ketika mencoba untuk mengubah perilaku siswa. Kita perlu menatap mata siswa yang bersangkutan, mendekatinya, dan terus menatap mereka dengan berbicara menggunakan nada yang terukur. And the third is focus on the behavior, not the student. We should take care not to humiliate an uncooperative student. It is the behavior that matters, not the student character. Pada poin ketiga ini sudah sangat jelas sekali bahwa kita sebaiknya hanya fokus kepada perilaku bermasalahnya saja dan bukan kepada karakter siswanya. Fourth is take things forward. Where a simple look or brief comment is not sufficient, we need to think carefully about how we respond. It is usually more effective for a teacher to say, "Let's do this," rather than "Don't do that." Pada poin ini dijelaskan bahwa kita perlu berpikir dengan hati-hati tentang hal bagaimana kita merespon siswa atau bagaimana sikap kita dalam merespon siswa. Biasanya lebih efektif menggunakan "ayo lakukan ini" daripada "jangan lakukan itu." Next is talk in private. It is appropriate to discuss a student's behavior in private and talk about how to improve it. This is not always possible, of course, but disciplining a student in front of his or her classmate will not help students' self-esteem at all. Berbicara secara pribadi sangat tepat dilakukan untuk mendiskusikan perilaku siswa tersebut secara pribadi dan membicarakan bagaimana cara memperbaikinya. Idealnya, kita akan mencoba menangani perilaku siswa bermasalah ini dalam situasi 1-1, misalnya saja berbicara di meja guru. Namun, jika kita menghadapi situasi seperti ini di depan seluruh kelompok, semakin tertutup kita menjaganya dengan berbicara dengan tenang dan mendekati siswa, maka akan semakin baik. Next is use clearly agreed sanctions. We have already suggested that equality's rules quite apart from the needs for fairness to all students. This means that students need to know what the penalties are for bad behavior. Ini berarti bahwa semua siswa perlu tahu apa hukuman untuk perilaku-perilaku buruk mereka. Mereka juga perlu menyadari bahwa jika X terjadi, maka Y akan mengikutinya. Namun, kurang efektif jika guru tidak memaksakan sanksi yang dia peringatkan kepada kelompok atau melanjutkan sanksi yang lebih serius daripada yang diharapkan oleh siswa. And the last is use the college and the institution. When there is a problem, we should consult our college and asking them for guidance. Mempunyai siswa yang bermasalah bukanlah suatu hal yang memalukan. Maka ketika terjadi masalah, kita harus berkonsultasi kepada rekan-rekan kita untuk meminta bantuan ataupun bimbingan agar kita dapat menyelesaikan masalah tersebut. I think that's all I can say. I'm sorry if I made a mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.